One of the things that, and this may be like a non-Sandler concept over the next 10 minutes, and I'll show you where the numbers are right now. On page 36, I'm going to spend a few minutes on page 36. But I'm going to use different percentages in there. And I'm going to use a phrase that's not in that book. We can grow a business from prospecting. True or false?
Sure.
Yeah. And we're all doing it right now. So I'm going to go big picture on prospecting. But we're just going to break it down. And when I heard this term from Sandler, I would just say it was a long time ago, I met Sandler. And I'm broke at the time, late 80s, I'm broke. I owned this company I shouldn't have bought, had no money to buy it, bank loan, taking it down the tubes. You know my background a little bit, I'm a similar business. And I meet Dave Sandler. So through the course of those first 6, 12, 18 months, he's saying things like, I'm going to teach you guys, if you want to learn, how to get silver-plated referrals. And of course, the first 6 months, my pen went up in the air and flew down. I go, here we go again. More BS from a motivational speaker that's not going to show me how to do it. Then he would say, I'm going to teach you how to work smarter, not harder. I throw the pen up in here. More BS. I've heard those anecdotal BS comments from all kinds of people in the world, not just Sandler. And I go, what did I get myself into? And over the next, because I'm a slow learner, the next 6, 12 months after that, when I saw other people in the class doing what he said, he actually took our finger and showed us how to actually do it, black and white, white and black, how to work smarter, not harder, how to get silver-plated referrals. But you have to change your mindset around what prospecting is to do it. The prospecting opportunity is not just some BS, hey, I'll do it when I can, or hey, that's not my department. The successful companies have prospecting as a concept within the whole organization. So what does that have to do with page 36? Everything. For example, when we're out there prospecting, whether you look at it this way, this way, this way, or this way, let's erase it for a second. We're going to grow our business from prospecting. And I'm going to include cold calls in here, whatever it says in your book here, but I want to put some other words in here. Cold calls, I'm also going to include direct mail. And this is my class now, so bear with me. I'm going to include direct mail inside of cold calls. What other way that's similar to cold calls, direct mail, cold calls, can you guys grow your business? How about newsletters? You guys with me what a newsletter is? Electronic or paper? Actually doing walk-ins in the cold call world. Could you grow your business from walking into businesses? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you do it over the phone? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can you do it by networking?
Yes.
So give me some other online yellow pages, for example. What did I hear over here? Advertising. Newspapers, trade journals. You get through. I'm marketing. I'm advertising, and I'm marketing. We're going to group it all together. And we're just going to call it cold calls. Don't argue with this number, because I know the number in the book has just one number. I like saying this number. We can grow our business. What's our growth rate by doing this? And we could add to this list, couldn't we? We could grow our business by doing it. And the national average, it's not a Sandler term. I know it says 1% in the book. I like saying 1 to 3%. When I talk to marketing people, and they go, they get a 3% rate of return on online yellow pages or radio advertising TV, it's a pretty damn good investment. That's what I hear. 1 to 2 to 2.5 is about average nation. In all industries, all types of advertising that fit this medium. You guys with me? Does anybody want to argue this? Any marketing experts in the room that want to argue? Yeah, there's going to be some things that might give you a 5% return. That's why we call it an average. Yes? Fair? So what's the question that needs to be asked? Can you grow your business prospecting, doing this, and get a 1 to 3% rate of return? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, no big secret there. That's not Sandler. And Sandler said, he found out, doing his study, he's the one that did the research into development. Guys, I pay a lot of money per month. I don't want to, tell you that for me here, and you're paying a lot of money for this training. So we pay a lot of money per month for the research and development that was done by his organization with sales philosophy, some statistics, and this is one of the biggies. He found out, his organization, in the 35 plus years it's been in existence, that you can grow your business. Again, my numbers may be a little different, higher than this, but it's the same thing as a cold call. So number 2, you can grow your business by cold calls. You go, what's the difference between number 2 and number 1? I think in your book it says lead, I think.
Lead.
Well, I'm going to call it a lead, cold call. But a lead, what separates a lead from this cold call? There's only one thing.
You know somebody.
What's that?
You know something.
Real close, Dana. And guys, if we just all graduated from college right now, 4-year degree, right? And all of us decided to go to medical school. Today's the first day of medical school. You with me in my example? We're going to learn jargon today that you didn't know yesterday. Does that make sense? In medical school. For example, yesterday, this was a marker. See the marker? But today, because we're in medical school, what are we going to call it?
Scaffold.
I've been asking that question for 19 years, and I've gotten that answer every single time. No one's ever said anything else. Maybe 8 million times I've asked that question. People always say scalpel. But yesterday, you didn't know that was a scalpel. And we're going to change some of these words today, not because we say we're right, just so we can talk the same language. Does that make sense? I remember, Chad, I don't know if it was you or your name came up, or maybe Kurt's with Edward and Rick recently, and Edward jumped off. I know Edward's a big Sandler aficionado or follower, if you will, but he goes, I like the fact that we're to stop calling leads the way the traditional salesperson does. We got lead written in your book, yes? And referrals in there. We're building up the referrals here. Working smarter, not harder is what this class today is all about. And I'm going to ask you guys for a referral today, and I'm going to practice what we preach. And if you don't put somebody's name down at the bottom of this page, you're not going to get kicked out of class. But I want you to play the game. Fair? So when you go out to your clients, you can do exactly what I'm going to do with you here today. Does that make sense? But I'm going to show, but you're going to see a twist on it. The twist is, what's in it for you, the customer, sitting in this room right now? And then how do you do it with your customers out there? What's in it for them? And I know I'm jumping ahead of myself here a little bit. A lead is this, guys. New definition. Remember scalpel? Is that okay? A lead is the exact same thing as a cold call. The only difference is, and Dana was real close. Good job, Dana. Mace. Go.
Identify somebody that has a need or potential has a need.
Well, kind of close. A little gray area there. I'm going to even dumb it down more than that, and just say, if I buy heating and cooling from Kurt, right, and my buddy Joe that I play golf with every day, I don't know if he has a need or a want. Let's pretend I don't know if he has a need or a want, but he's my buddy. Fair? And then Kurt, can you play the role of an amateur salesperson? Sure. I know you can't do it anymore. You know, there's amateurs out there, yes? Yes? In your world, and then there's professionals. We're all professionals. This is professional training, guys. I know I'm doing a commercial for Sandler. I just don't know what anything more professional. Be an amateur and ask me for a referral. Just say, hey, is anybody else I could help, Bob, in your world? Say something like that.
Hey, if you know of any.
Yeah, I know Joe.
Yeah.
And here's his business card. And as Joe know, I'm giving him his business card. Do we know if Joe has a need or a want? Let's pretend we don't know. You got it? But do I play golf with Joe? Is he my neighbor? Whatever. I said, yeah. I said, you've asked me like 10,000 times the last 2 months, Glenn, for referrals, right? Well, there's one.
All right.
Did I call it a referral?
Yeah.
And he's asking for a referral, and does he think he has a referral? Yeah. Does Joe know this transaction took place?
No.
Studies show, though, and don't go down the tunnel of Joe being mad at me because I gave his name out. That could happen, but don't worry about that. Do you have Joe's name, yes or no?
Yeah.
At this point in time,
Calling right up.
I'm calling it right now. At this point in time, guys, and don't overanalyze these stories. Remember, don't take what we say literally, apply it to your world realistically, yes? At this point in time, in this example, Kurt, Joe, and Bob, right? Is this a cold call that he has in his hand right now? Everybody go like this? Yeah, it's absolutely. The only difference is, and this is where I said you were close, Damon, it is a cold call, it's a lead, we're calling it. It's the same thing as a cold call, the only difference is with a what attached?
Name.
A name, that is it. Hook, line, and sinker. And studies show, I go as low as 10%. There's a 10 to 15% chance, so we could create our marketing department, Kurt, you and I own the company now, fair? We could create a marketing department and go, hey, we're going to do a little bit of this up here, or we're going to do a lot of this down here. Because look how big these percentages are compared to those. That's a true statement. There's studies continue to show that there's a 10 to 50% chance overall, the 1,000 customers that Kurt calls, and all he has is their name, there's a 10 to 15% chance you're going to do business with Joe. A lot higher than 1 to 3. Got it? Suffice it to say. Now, is that good enough in your world, in this prospecting arena, which is what today's class is all about? Yeah. But there's 2 that are better. And number 3 is where I'm going to push you guys towards. Go, Glenn.
Just having a name can just get you past so many doors.
Hell yeah.
With the gatekeeper or whoever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, he's going to call Joe and say, Joe. He's going to say, who's this? He's going to say, Kurt from Haller. He's going to say, what? And then he's going to say, Bob Sinton. And then he hangs up on him. He says, But no, I agree with Glenn, but that's why this number's bigger. Again, this is not even a Sandler conversation going on here right now. The only Sandler part is, I wanna redefine what a lead is, so when we're in future classes, you're talking to each other, when Rick and Edward were making that conversation about leads, they go, whoa, we've been calling leads something totally different here. We're not, is that my phone? We're not saying, we're right, guys. We're saying, let's just get on the same page with Scalpel, yes? This is a lead, this is a cold call. All these are cold calls. Someone comes up to you at a trade show, it's a cold call. It's a cold call. What's the purpose of a cold call? To make an appointment. What's the purpose of knocking on these doors? I don't want to change gears here, but in future Friday advanced classes, we talk about the best way to prospect. You're going to get a little taste of it today. A lead is, we're not saying it's bad. He can't say, I'm not calling Joe because I learned in Sandler class that's not really a referral, Bob. Referral doesn't come into play until number 3. Get it? And I'm going to ask you guys for a referral in a minute. We're going to play that game. But remember that little tip I gave you? What's in it for you, the customer? Get it? But, and we're not saying don't, after today's class, we're not going to say to Kurt not to call Joe. He's still going to call him, right? In fact, you probably want to get up right now and call him, because I just gave you the name. We'll wait for the phone to ring, see how it goes. But it doesn't know anything about needs or wants. So where am I building up to this? Number 3, and does it say the new definition in number 3? Say referral there?
Yep.
All right, referral. New definition. Remember Scalpel? Now let's go down the stethoscope tunnel, okay? Let's go down step. Referral is this. I'm going to use the same 3 examples, right? Bob, Joe, and Kurt for the next 15 minutes. Is that okay? I bought something from Kurt. And guys, I'm going to go in role play, out of role play, and if it's confusing, all I can say is I'm sorry. But I'll go in and out. It's not confusing. You just got to get the moral to the story. Kurt, you ready? And Kurt, I want you to play it, right?
All right.
Do you want to grow your business?
Absolutely.
Do you, Glenn?
Yes.
Do you want to work smarter, not harder, Melissa? Do you want Glenn to have people eating out of your hand with more? I don't know what the quantity is. That's yet to be determined in your cookbook. Well, quantity of more, and you guys know the term silver plated and gold plated. You guys kind of know what that implies. Easy, right? Taking candy from a baby, probably a politically incorrect term these days. I'm an old fart, remember? So is that an implication of easy? It's like taking candy from a baby. Is the implication they're being easy, right?
Yes.
So do you want more of those kinds of customers? That might mean gold plated, silver plated leads. I'm about to show you. But the amateur salespeople miss something. And guys, I know you've gotten referrals before in your life, and today, and yesterday. And under our new definition of referrals, you've gotten them. We're going to be a little more specific about it, clear about it, and call it what it is. If it doesn't meet the criteria of this, then it's either that or that, right? If it meets this criteria, then it is a referral. And you will get more, and a lot more of them, silver-plated, gold-plated referrals. So what is the criteria? We're using Kurt, Joe, and me, right? Who's the customer? Me?
Yep.
Joe's my buddy. Kurt, and I'm going to play both parts just so you see where I'm going. Kurt's going to, in his cookbook, say for the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, forever, if he wants, to always work smarter. He's going to put in his cookbook to have phone calls, meetings, Starbucks, have a coffee with somebody. Yes, I'm the customer. Up to and including taking me to 3 days in Aruba. I got clients sitting in these rooms over the last 19 years. They take their top 5 clients out, families, everything included, all expenses paid for 3, 4, 5 days in Aruba. Well, obviously they're giving them $5, $6, $7, $8 million in business, right? Take them down there, wine and dine them, and they have a referral conversation with them. So whether you're calling someone on the phone all the way up to Aruba and everywhere in between, you're going to put in your cookbook, and Kurt's going to have, when my name pops up, I'm his client, right? He's going to have a conversation with me when he makes the sale to me, after he makes the sale, so don't go down that tunnel. When's the best time to ask for a referral? We say, right now is the best time, all the time. Just keep doing it. And Kurt, part of his cookbook says, he's going to have a conversation with me, Bob Sinton, his customer at Haller Enterprises, yes? About what do I like about Haller, what don't I? What do I like about the job? You guys keep this in your world, get it? He's having a conversation with me, with building up to, he doesn't know he's going to get a referral from me, but he's going to do it with everybody, or as many people as you want, or as many people you put in your cookbook. Remember the numbering? He's going to have an activity. Some of my clients around the country, to bore you for a second, in their cookbook they call them CRCs. They make up acronyms. I love it. All my clients around the country and locally. CRC is a code from one of my clients, and they've shared it with other companies that sit in here on Fridays, and now a lot of my clients are using it. Client retention conversation. CRs, how many of those client retention conversations? And it's not just, I got something else to sell you. he's calling me up, and if you don't like CRC, call it something else. And I go, as I speed up the conversation, Kurt says, what do you like about Haller, Bob? What don't you like? What do you like about the job? And invariably, he brings up this. Here it comes, guys. Bob, I was wondering if, and I'm playing both parts, right, Kurt? Bob, I was wondering if you could help me grow the business, he says. Well, sure, Kurt, you're a nice guy. I like Haller. I play golf with Rick now and then, or Glenn takes all my money sometimes. And he says, well, from time to time, would it make sense if, what could I do for you, he says to me. See what I'm doing, playing his part. What could he do for me? What could Haller, what could Kurt do for Bob Sinton if, and only if, or it doesn't have to be guaranteed, but if I give him an introduction / referral to somebody that has a need, has a want, knows his name, will take his phone call, and they know Haller Enterprises is not the cheapest game in town. See how I did that real fast? So the word, if you're taking notes here, guys, is how do you train your employees? Take that back. How do you train your clients to give you referrals under the criteria that I just spit out? And I know I'm talking fast, guys. What's one bit of criteria I just spit out? See if you were awake here. What was one criteria?
Not the cheapest.
Not the cheap. And guys, it's funny that Dustin picked that one, number 5, because my clients have started implementing this referral program, the prospecting class today, in their cookbook. That's usually the one they leave off the end on purpose, and I'm okay with it, because it's kind of tough to say that to customers early on. But they have a need, have a want, will take his phone call, know his name, they can always cover that. Get it? So let's go back to the role play. Kurt has conversations with me, I'm a customer, and all his other customers, to the degree that he picks in his cookbook. And he has referral conversations with them, and he asks them this question, which is, not, if not 100%, guys, 99% of amateur salespeople miss. What else can I be doing
For you.
for you? I gave the guy $15,000 for a job 6 months ago. Now, guys, let's get down and dirty here right now. I'm the customer. I gave him how much? For what? Products and services. Yes. In your world, get it? Cut right to the chase here for a second. What do I owe this guy? Nothing. And amateur salespeople miss that. They leave your house after selling you a $1,000 vacuum, or you leave their shop after they buy a $40,000 car from, and these amateur salespeople say, so you got any referrals for me? And then they give me a stack of business cards. And the customer sometimes is nice and says, yeah, I'll introduce you to people sometime. And they take the business cards, they put them in their pocket, they put them in the drawer in the kitchen. Where do they go 6 months from now? If not 1 day from now. And it doesn't mean they're doing anything with negative intent. They're being nice to the car sales guy. Yeah, I'll give you some referrals. And every now and then he gets one, doing the amateur way. We're going to get him exponentially more if you follow what I'm doing right now. CRC. Put it in your cookbook. Measure. Have verbal conversations. Up to and including Starbucks. Up to and including breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Up to and including 3 days in Aruba. You pick. If someone's giving you $1,000 every 5 years, probably doesn't justify taking them to Aruba. Fair? Jared, right? But if you don't want to have the conversation with them, God, you did a big job for it a year ago, a conversation that's unrelated, do you have any more work for me, Mr. Customer? That's not what we're talking about here. Kurt's having a conversation with me about how I can help him, yes? Help him do what? Grow his company, grow his business, but what's he going to do what? What's he going to do in the same context? Ask me what he can do for what?
For you.
And just real generically, Kurt, let me hear you ask that question. What else could I do for you, Bob?
What else can I do for you?
If and when, say if and when. And guys, I'm not giving you the words exact. This is how my clients are out doing it right now. You guys can change it around any way you want. Say if and when.
If and when
The day presents itself.
the day presents.
Where I give you a referral.
Where I give you a referral.
Where I would say where you give me a
Where
referral.
you give me a.
Where the guy knows my name. Say that.
Where the guy knows my name.
He has a need and a want.
And a need and a want.
And he will take my call.
And he'll take
And
my
Dustin, if you want to play big, add what part? The fifth part.
Remember, I'm not the cheapest price.
Yeah, and because when you bought this system, Mr. Smith, from me, Jared, I'm switching gears here, guys. 6 months. Remember you said there was other quotes you got that were a little bit less than mine, but you chose to go with O'Donnell and Dr. Energy Saver because of blah blah. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Would you be okay telling a referral that if and when and if you give me a referral, would you be okay telling them that to people, like we're not the cheapest game in town?
Yeah.
You okay? Now, Dustin, that speaks to your. When I first do this class for my clients, guys, probably 50% of them don't include that, Dustin. But then over time they include it. Because, guys, are you the cheapest game in town? No. There's always people out there that'll sell something for less. You got to understand that. So that's the only part that's maybe optional. But guys, were you listening? What could you say right now? I don't mean to do, we don't have time for 1,000 role plays right now. But what could you say? If you want to go down the referral tunnel, let's repeat the conditional requirements. What are they?
Has a need and a want.
Need
Has a need.
and a want. Could you have a conversation with your customers right now, that if and when and if they give you a referral, just make sure with those customers, what's the guy's name? And I'm gonna switch gears here, I'll be Howler, you be the customer, okay? Kurt? The guy's name Joe you gave me, right?
Yeah.
So does he have a need and a want? Like he might have been playing golf with him or his neighbor, and he just mentioned one day, I saw Howler Enterprises in your driveway, Kurt, this customer here, Ed, says, yeah. And he goes, well, I'm thinking about a new system, little basic need and want. Not a lot of pain there, fair? So you got, that's qualified. And then, what's the other condition requirement? Joe has to what?
Knows my name, will
Has
call
my
me
name,
back.
and he knows my name. Knows my name. And what else? He will what? He will take the call. How are you gonna know if someone's gonna take a call? Just look at your buddy, your neighbor right now, Kurt, and say, will you take Bob's call from Howard? Look at him and ask him.
Will you take Bob's call from now?
And say, because I know you're busy, Joe. Say that.
I know you're busy.
You hear the compliment? You hear the compliment there? To his neighbor? I know you're busy, Joe. Say it. I know you're busy, Joe.
I know you're busy.
And Bob's busy too.
And Bob's
Do
busy.
you guys see the professionalism here or no?
Absolutely.
And when I first heard this 20 plus, Sanders teaching us this, because he was the patriarch, if you, is that the right word? The patriarch of working smarter, not harder. He was a lazy SOB. And all of a sudden, I started seeing myself in Sandler. I'm a lazy SOB too. This was a way of making a lot of money, quicker, easier, in shorter periods of time. But you gotta change your cookbook, you gotta change your behavior. You wanna live your life up here? God bless you. We have a rule up on this poster up here. It says professional salespeople. If you don't have that poster hanging in your office somewhere, guys, I'm not asking you to pay $50 or $150 for a set to put in there, because it ain't worth the $50 that it's printed on, unless you implement, execute what it says. That poster's a $100,000 poster. One of them says on there, professional salespeople do not have to make cold calls. Comma. You just have to know how to. That's why I gave you that homework 45 minutes ago. You gotta read those scripts. There's gonna be times where someone comes up to you at an expo and you can't talk to you, you're a cold call. I live my life down here.